Hi there, this is Mike Lopez, and in this video we're going to be converting improper fractions into a quotient and remainder. Very much like what's on your assignment 1 in maths. Okay, so let's have a look at a quick example. How's about something like this? Very similar to what you might see on the assignment brief. 4x squared minus 3x plus 6 over x plus 5. Okay. And the idea is, we're going to convert it into formats that you may have seen back in your school days. So we've got the divisor and the dividend arranged in this manner. 4x squared minus 3x plus 6. So basically what this is saying is, how many times does x plus 5 go into 4x squared minus 3x plus 6? Okay, what we need to concentrate on is the first term here and the first term here. Okay, so we're looking at the 4x squared, and you need to divide into that the x, and wherever that part solution is going to sit on the top here. Okay, so I'm going to create a little margin over this side here, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to get hold of that first term, that 4x squared, and sit it over x. Okay, now x is x to the power 1. We don't normally waste ink and put x to the power 1, but anything could be to the power 1. For example, the number 8 is 8 to the power 1, but we just write 8. But in this way, it's actually quite useful to indicate the power. So 4x squared over x to the 1, well, we've got x squared over x to the 1, that's just going to leave you x to the 1. So the answer is just 4x, of course. Okay, and that 4x has to sit over here where we build this partial solution. Okay, so we have 4x sitting there. The next step is to get hold of this 4x that we've just put in here and multiply it by each of these terms here in the denominator. So you get the 4x times the x, which is obviously 4x squared, familiar. And that goes there in the x squared column. And I said we need to multiply it by each term over here. So the 4x times 5 is going to obviously give you 20x. And that goes in the x column, which is this way here, so plus 20x. Okay, so we've managed to multiply both terms in this denominator by 4x. There it is. So we stick a line in below, and we put a nice broad minus sign in to remind ourselves we're doing subtraction. And then we do 4x squared take away this 4x squared, which gives you nothing, so we just leave some white space. Then we have minus 3x take away 20x. So that's minus 3x minus 20x, which of course is minus 23x. And then of course we can't forget this 6 here. 6 take away some white space, so white space means 0. 6 take away 0, just leaves you that plus 6 there. Okay, and that was cycle 1. Okay, so we could go over here to our little marginal notes and say cycle 1. Let's work this thing out. What we now do is we work to cycle 2, and again we're going to use this x here in the denominator, but this time we look at the latest result in this column here, which is minus 23x. Okay, and cycle 2, right over here on the left. Cycle 2 is determining minus 23x sitting over x. And of course the answer to that is minus 23. And where does the minus 23 go? Yeah, it goes over there in this partial answer sort of building area. Okay, so we have this minus 23 sitting there. Okay, now we need to get hold of this minus 23 and again multiply it by each of these two terms over here. Okay, so the minus 23 times the x gives you minus 23x. And the minus 23 times the plus 5, of course, will give you minus 115. Okay, minus 115. You notice that's sitting above, inside the numbers column. Okay. So again, we draw a line, we draw a big broad minus sign here, and then we do this subtraction. Minus 23 take away minus 23, so something take away itself is over 0. So rather than write 0 in there, I won't waste the ink and I'll just leave it as blank. Okay, move over to the numbers. 6 take away minus 115, so 6 minus minus 115, minus minus turns into a plus, so you end up with plus 121, if you want to call it that. Okay. And so we have some sort of answer now. Answer to the problem 4x squared minus 3x plus 6 over x plus 5 is, well, have a look at the top here to the answer that you were building. We've also got a remainder, so we have a quotient and a remainder. What you've built up the top here is 4x minus 23. 4x minus 23. And we have something left over. We have this 121 left over. That's positive, so 121. And it fits over this initial x plus 5 term over here. Okay. And what we're saying is that is the correct answer. Let's see if we can possibly check that answer. Why don't we, let's change colour to blue. Why don't we examine our proposed answer? Let's write it in blue, as I said, minus 23 plus 121 over x plus 5. And that's equivalent to, remember from your school days when you get a common denominator. Let's put these isolated terms over 1, which doesn't do any harm. And then, of course, we have 3 fractions here. You're looking for a common denominator. You're looking at these and you're thinking, okay, common denominator is x plus 5. And then we go 1 into x plus 5 gives you x plus 5 times the 4x. So 4x times the x plus 5. Look at the central fraction. 1 into x plus 5 again gives you x plus 5 minus 23 lots of x plus 5. And then this third fraction, x plus 5 into the common denominator, x plus 5 gives you 1. 1 lot of 121. Okay, so 121 times 1. And all we need to do now is try to evaluate all of these multiplications as here. So we're going to be looking at, let me change colour. We're going to do that times that, which of course is 4x squared. Then I'm looking for that times that, which is plus 20x. Okay, now I'm looking for that times that, which is minus 23x. Then I'm doing that times that, minus 23 times 5 gives us minus 115, of course. And then, of course, 121 times 1, which gives you plus 121. And it all sits over x plus 5. So what we're hoping to do is reverse engineer this proposed correct answer up here. Let's see if we can get back to the question. This is a good way for you to check your proposed answers. Okay. Let me have a look at the x squared terms here first of all. I can only see one, it's there. So we got 4x squared. Okay, so that one's dealt with. X terms, I've got 20x minus 23x. So that's going to end up, to deal with those two, that's going to give you minus 3x. And then we got these numbers here, minus 115 plus 121, of course, gives you plus 6 over x plus 5. And what's remarkable, of course, is that it appears that we know our answer is correct because we've reversed engineered this proposed solution. Okay, I hope that was useful for you, and I'll see you in the next video.